rest of my Lyle goes wild.
Oh, they're talking about Jason Kidd possibly replacing Luke Walton.
All right, well, we'll get there. Let's get into the
All right, you guys ready?
Get into the zone. Now you can see me. How do you like my new webcam? It's super webcammy.
Yeah, now I can see the flaws in your face.
It's high definition of that fucking fuck face mustache you got going on.
Yo, this mustache just tickles the clitorati,
That shit's fucking prickly. I doubt that shit tickles anything.
Well, that's because you're Jewish.
Yo, have you ever eaten that holy schnitzel?
Holy schnitzel.
No, for real.
Oh my god! All right, let's get started. You guys ready?
No, for real. It's a restaurant.
I've never heard of it. Yeah, I don't go to Staten Island. I have self-respect.
Okay. All right. Whenever you want to cut me down.
Okay.
No, hold up. Give me 5 more seconds.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
That'll be a good you gotta hit the drop.
All right, ready?
You got
5.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of JNJ Talk Sports Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at JNJTalksports. I'm your host, Justin, quote-unquote Skywalker Palizzi. You can follow me on Twitter at EasyPalizzi_21. That's POLIZZI_21. And joining me this week, like every other week, one of my 2 overly large size co-hosts, Lyle. How's it going, buddy?
Welcome back. You have your boy Lyle Style, aka the Grand Poobah, aka Mr. Steal Girl. Yes, you can follow me on Twitter at Lyles Style. You can also catch me on Hellbent on Twitch on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and some Saturdays. Also with us as well is the Greek with the streak. Nick, how are you today?
How you doing, Lyle? How you doing, Just? I'm good, man. I'm good. Everybody, this is Nick. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stefanoun. That's STEPHANOUN. Now, it's been a while, so let's get right into this. We got a little soccer going on.
Yes, we do. There's so much going on. Today was the closing of the winter transfer window, and as always, Arsenal disappoints. But more importantly,
as always,
we have the Champions League coming back. I'm going to only talk about one thing right now with the Champions League, or 2 things, so Justin can have his fun. Biggest news coming out of PSG, who faces Manchester United in the round of 16. Neymar out with the same metatarsal injury for 2 months, missing huge games against Manchester United. Huge. One of the biggest news. Neymar, trying to be one of the greatest players of all time, can't stop getting injured at the worst possible moment. And honestly, it's not his fault because petulant players in the French league keep kicking him for just being better than them.
And it kind of stinks because if you look at all the matchups, like United versus PSG was probably one of the better matchups in the sense that you can't really pencil in who you think is going to win that matchup, whereas all the other ones are very more predictable.
Yeah, to be fair, though, PSG is still better than United, in my opinion. Even with new resurgent United under old Gunner, PSG still have Cavani. They still have Mbappe. They still have Ferretti. They still have Thiago Silva. They still have a squad. Yeah. So, again, I still have PSG coming on top, but losing Neymar is huge for PSG, huge for his legacy, and kind of a little disappointing because I was excited to see that.
And those first games are going to be on the 12th, so we got 40 games that weekend, and then we got that middle of the week, and then we got 4 more the following week. Is there a specific match, Lyle, that you are looking forward to more than the other ones?
Again, I'm still looking forward to PSG Man U. I think it's going to provide the most entertainment, the most flair, especially now that Jose Mourinho isn't going to be there to park the bus. I think it's going to be a lot of attack. I think we're going to see some pretty fun and entertaining games.
Well, I think it's I've expressed it many times. The one team I'm keeping my eye on in this year's, well, in every year's Champions League, but specifically this year they play on my birthday, and that's Juventus. Nick, what about you? Is it? I mean, I know you're not much of a soccer guy, but your brother is a big soccer fan, and Lionel seems to be talking about soccer more often now than we have been in the past. Are you going to be watching any games from the Champions League?
I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up catching a few brewskis and catching that Juventus game. If you
Hope
still
so,
want to.
yeah.
But yeah.
Word. Juve, Atletico. That I mean, again, the first round. Here are the interesting matchups for anyone who's a bystander. Juve, Atletico. Match of Titans. Bayern, Liverpool. Huge matchup. PSG, Man U. Huge matchup. Porto, Roma. For the people who are more into soccer, is going to be a very fun matchup. And Dortmund, Tottenham is going to be exciting. The only ones that are, again, penciled in, the Man City matchup, the Barcelona matchup, the Real Madrid matchup. They should walk.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then that's exactly what I was saying. I feel like that Man U matchup was looking more like a 50-50. But, I mean, you're still going PSG on that one, Lance. So that was pretty shocking. Did you guys see the boxing fight? It was 2 weeks ago. We had an amazing boxing fight this past weekend as well. But 2 weeks ago, it was the big fight. It was Broner versus Pacquiao. Were any of you two able to catch that?
Sure did.
I don't know. If I want to watch two geriatrics try and throw fists at each other, I'll just sit on my porch and watch the people across the street throw punches at each other.
So Lau, so you actually kind of foreshadowed one of the things I was going to mention to Nick, but I let Nick go ahead and explain exactly why he had interest in the fight.
Why? Because of my man Pacquiao?
So you didn't bet on the fight then?
Oh, I put a small wager with a colleague. Nothing crazy. I had a little hundo on Pacquiao.
Yeah, and as everyone knows by now, Pacquiao is the one that won that fight, unanimous decision. Broner, I mean, if you heard the interview after the fight, he must have sounded like he was on drugs because he said he went after Pacquiao. He said that he brought the fight to him, that he won the fight. I don't know what fight he thought that he was fighting, but the whole world knew that
Pacquiao was definitely the aggressor. Even when Pacquiao had maybe 9 of the 10 rounds won, he was still coming at Broner nonstop, relentless, which is why he got the decision very easily.
Yeah, honestly, the bet I had going on that matchup is who would break their hip first. Unfortunately, no one did, so I lost that bet. This is honestly the fact that we are letting Broner and Pacquiao be part of the conversation of boxing still disappoints me because one of them's a politician busy murdering drug dealers in the Philippines. The other one is Adrian Broner. Who cares about them anymore?
Well, hey, Mayweather foreshadow a possible rematch. Any comments on that?
I will literally go into that ring myself and beat the crap out of both of them because I'm pretty sure they're brittle. If they don't take their, Excedrin PM or whatever, Centrum Silver or whatever, I'm pretty sure they'll break. So I personally have no interest. I'm sure you guys will have lots of interest.
Didn't you watch the Mayweather fight? What was it, last month when he fought the Japanese guy and destroyed him in the first round?
That looked so fixed.
It did.
It looked like, honestly, like he was and I know he's in debt of money apparently, gambling to Vegas, but that's not the way you want to go out trying to get money.
Speaking of fixed, we need to talk about the fixed baseball markets going on right now and the free agency nonsense that the MLB is pulling. We have two of the biggest
conspiracy theory.
Two of the biggest free agents in the past, I would say 5-6 years. Easily. You have a 25-year-old and 26-year-old in their prime. And no one's offering them more than 8 years. No one's offering them ridiculous amounts of money like they used to. No one's offering them.
Baseball learned from their mistakes.
Well, owners learn from their mistakes. But the fact is, a free agency class like this in baseball comes around once every 15 years, maybe. And you have Bryce Harper, stud, Manny Machado, stud, that could put any team over the top. And the fact that everyone's lowballing them, if I was Manny and I was Bryce, I'm licking my fingers and just getting ready for that next CBA contract talk because it's going down. And this is not last year. It was almost as bad. The only difference is you didn't have the huge names. You had JD Martinez, who they sat on and sat on and sat on.
And the thing with that is that JD Martinez was waiting. He wanted a 10-year contract as well. And what did the MLB did? What did the MLB do? Nobody reached out to him and said, okay, we're gonna pay you that $25 million you want over 10 years. Like nobody did that. The MLB instead, teams, they waited until Boston came in and told JD, listen, we could give you that money that you want every, the 25 per year, but we're not giving you 10 years. And then they signed him to what I think it was like a 5-year deal, 4-year deal. They signed JD Martinez. And I think that's ultimately what's going to happen to Bryce Harper and Machado. And I don't think it's the worst thing in the world because 5 years from now, they're still both going to be 30 and they'll still get another 5-year contract after that. So I just think teams are just being patient and Bryce and Manny are not budging. And I think ultimately both of them will obviously get signed to big, crazy contracts. So be it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Speaking of a matter of time, the first time in the history of the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame,
the only Yankee player Nick knows.
The only Yankee player Nick knows. We had our first unanimous decision on a Hall of Fame player, and that is the greatest closer of all time. You know him. I love him. Mariano Rivera. First off, the fact that he's the first unanimous player blows my mind. That's wild. Absolutely wild. What also...
Go ahead.
The fact that no other player before Mo got 100% of the vote blows my mind. The fact that Edgar Martinez made it to the Hall of Fame also blows my mind, but that's a whole other story. The fact that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are not in the Hall of Fame blows my mind, but I digress.
No, but we can talk about that. So okay, Lyle said it. Mariano Rivera, right? First year on the ballot, of course, 100% vote first time in. Boom, he's in the Hall of Fame. Roy Halladay actually also got in on his first year. May he rest in peace. On 85% of the vote. Edgar Martinez, like Lyle said, also 85% of the vote. Same thing as Roy Halladay. Also got on, got in on the ballot for this year. This was his last year to get in too. Like, so if he didn't get in this year, Edgar Martinez would not be in the Hall of Fame. And then my favorite pitcher of all time, my favorite pitcher of all time, Mike Mussina, got in his 6th year on the ballot with 77% of the votes. Now, Lyle, I know you don't have much likeness for Mike Mussina.
No, it's not I don't like Mike Mussina. I'm a big fan of Mike Mussina. He was a very good pitcher for the Yankees. Is he a Hall of Famer? Unless Gold Gloves count for a lot more than I think they do for a pitcher, nah, son. Like, I get where the argument for he is, but nah, son. That's a weak pick.
So Mike Mussina, and we live in a day of age in baseball where the WAR stat, wins above replacement, is such a big stat. Mussina finished with a career WAR better, 83, than Roy Halladay did with 51. But then if you take over the course of their 7 best seasons, Roy Halladay obviously has a better WAR.
And also the thing about
pitcher, but Mike Mussina is a Hall of Famer, whether you like it or not. I mean, he was on the ballot for 6 years. It's not like he was a first ballot or second-year ballot at that sense.
It's not like I'm going to go. I'm not going to burn down the Hallers for voting in Mussina. I'm going to burn them down for not voting in Clement Bonds. But this, again, I'm happy for Mussina as a Yankee fan. Big ups. At the same time, did he deserve it? But he's in. It is what it is.
Now, you said you had a problem with Clemens and Bonds not being in. Why is that specifically?
What? So they played in the steroid age, sure. They took steroids, sure. Before they took steroids, they were great. After, they continued being great. If you look at some of the articles, some of the research, a majority of the players were taking performance-enhancing drugs, and they were still just better. Drugs can't help you hit the ball. You still have to make contact. You still have to have control of your pitches. They are 2 of the greatest baseball players of all time. Drugs or no drugs. They should be in. If you need to put an asterisk on it, whatever helps you sleep at night. But they should be immortalized because in the steroid era, they were still the greatest. I cannot put up behind them.
I second that 100%. Where, with the asterisk, put the asterisk on it. By all means, go ahead. The Hall of Fame is more than just a list and a list and a collection of plaques of all the best baseball players of all time. It's more than that. It's a museum. It's what makes baseball baseball. It's the greatest players of each era of each team. Nick, I know you're not the greatest of baseball fans. Yeah, you watch the Yankees. You've come to playoff games with us, and for the most part, you support both New York teams. As a non-committed baseball fan, someone from the outside of the MLB world, okay? If I told you Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, would you know those guys?
Nick, if
Yes,
you're muted,
yes,
please.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Wait, would you know those guys?
Yes, I would.
And Barry Bonds, what? Tell me one thing that he's famous for, aside from the steroid use, obviously.
Well, home run hitting though.
All the home runs, 71 home runs, longest home run. Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Kurt Schilling. Eventually, Big Papi's gonna be on the bat. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa. These guys, regardless of if they use steroids, like I said, they used it during the steroid era, so it was kind of the whole field was using it. So why just punish these guys? They're part of baseball history, whether you like it or not. These guys own records. They're not going away. If you're not going to take them out the history books, then how can you take them out of the Hall of Fame? And it's annoying to me. And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. And
it's going to. Well, here's the thing.
I don't think Clemens and Bonds get it. I think eventually steroid players will get in it, and it may be Big Papi or maybe A-Rod, the first ones to break that barrier.
If McGwire doesn't get in, that's fine. He wasn't consistently great. If Sosa doesn't get in, fine. But Clemens and Bonds will never be will not be surpassed in our lifetime. In my opinion, I don't think they will ever be surpassed. And that's why it's a tragedy. I'm not saying all these steroid players like Big Papi was not as dominant as Barry Bonds was. Nowhere close.
Yeah, but he was never proven or suspended for steroids use. But there's that rumor that he didn't have it.
Scenario. But I'm just saying, I can't. Clemens and Bonds are in a separate category from 99.99999% of baseball.
Yeah,
that's why I have beef with them two in particular not being in the fame.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's get Nick going here right now. Nick, I wanna get your thoughts on and I know the Super Bowl is coming up. We're a few days away here, and I'm excited. I can't wait to talk about that. But we do still have two very controversial and two great played games, really, in the AFC Championship game between the Chiefs and the Patriots, and the NFC Championship game between the Rams and the Saints. Nick, we'll start off with the Rams and Saints game because that has been the more controversial game. What were your thoughts on that game in terms of the refs and blowing that call?
I think it was absolutely ridiculous that call was not made. And if I'm correct, I think they gave the cornerback a roughing the player fine after the game.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that during this play, they didn't call illegal contact, they didn't call pass interference, they didn't call unnecessary roughness, three of which that would have easily given the Saints a first down, and in retrospect blew the game. It's complete bullcrap. And the fact that the refs didn't get it right, and I understand, all right, the defense is they're human. No, this every 40 million people watching the game, however many people watching the game, all saw a clear-cut pass interference penalty. It was not called, and honestly, it was the difference between the Saints not making the Super Bowl yet again.
So you think that play was the sole reason in which the Saints didn't go to the Super Bowl or win the game?
Well, I mean, you can argue the fact one play, whether or not you can really rely on one play. The Saints' run game wasn't working throughout the game. Drew Brees throwing interception late in the game also didn't help. But that one play, if that was called correctly, would have ran out the clock and would have won the game for the Saints.
See, that's where I stand with it, and I'll get your thoughts on that soon. But like, what the way I feel about it is like, okay, they would have got the penalty. They would have got it's a spot foul now, right? The pass interference. So it wasn't that far down the field. It was about
first
15 yards. It's like 15 yards. Yeah, it's automatic first down. So the thing is, with that automatic first down now, the Saints can easily, at least, worst case scenario, running down at least another minute of the clock.
Well, you run out
now. If the Rams use all the timeouts, the Rams use all the timeouts. Okay, they still got more time, but now they don't have the timeouts. The Saints still have 2 plays before that in order to get a first down. They didn't. and they ended up ultimately kicked the field goal, and their defense still allowed the Rams to go down the field. But had that play been called and the same thing would have happened, incomplete pass, think about it. Sean Payton was calling pass plays in the 2-minute offense where you need to be running the clock because you were in Lutz's range the minute you cross the 50. The minute you cross the 50, Lutz is kicking a field goal from there. He's one of the best kickers in the game, if not the second best. The second best kicker in the game, probably after Gutowski. So I feel like Payton didn't call.
We're not going to give Zerline his love.
No, Zerline's a great kicker too. I'm saying, but Lutz has been automatic. So they passed the ball 3 times. The pass on the first that wasn't called, and the next 2 plays. So, I mean, if Payton's gameplay, his game calling doesn't change, then I mean, at the end of the day, the Saints still will lose the game, in my opinion. So, I do think, in a time aspect, it did affect the time of the game, and I think that would have pressured the Rams to maybe push the ball down the field quicker, and it can maybe take a longer field goal than what they did, and maybe they miss it. But that's a lot of ifs. So, unfortunately, the call wasn't made. It was a blown call. I still do think that the right team won because I don't think that place it doesn't fully convince me that the Saints would have went and scored a touchdown anyways. I just think less time would have been on the clock, but who knows? Lau, what are your thoughts?
So I'm not going to get into the refs blowing it and the refs blowing it all weekend in both games. This is just one example of how atrocious the refereeing was. I want to talk about the Rams cornerback and his response to this whole controversy.
Yes, please. That's a good transition.
His response was, would I rather get a pass interference or let up a touchdown? I'll take that. I'll take that chance and hit the guy. And honestly, he made the right defensive play. He got beat.
Oh, 100%.
He got beat. He's like,
100%.
Of course, you stopped the touchdown no matter what. He even said, I got beat. I had to make up for it.
The ball was underthrown. So he's like, you know what? He's stopping. I'm just gonna hit him. I'm not letting him a touchdown. I'm gonna pop him. He made the right play. And then when he was asked, like, oh, what do you think about the goal? It's like, hey, it happens. We won. Let's move on. And I'm like, exactly. He didn't say it was a pass interference. He's like, shit happened. It happens to everyone. Every single team has been on the bad end of a bad call. This is a lot bigger because, NFC Championship. But it happens to everyone. It just sucks that it happened. And I do feel bad for the Saints, but go Rams.
And the Saints actually had Andrews Pete on that same drive actually did a hands to the face block where a helmet came off, and he didn't get called for that either. So the Saints got away with a call there, as the Rams did on the other side of the ball. Now with the AFC Championship game, there were some blown calls there, but not as significant because they went both ways for both of the teams.
Oh no!
Oh, you're talking about the pass interference, the roughing the passer one? Yeah,
I'm
that one
sorry,
was really bad.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. He grazed you, Tom.
Yeah, no,
so
absolutely. Absolutely. But there's something big. There was something bigger. There's a bigger discussion that I wanted to get to, but you guys are right.
Before we get to that, I want to ask you guys. Now that they're discussing about possibly being able to review the kind of penalty that was on the pass, like the pass interference, for instance. What do you guys think about that?
There's a penalty on every single play in the NFL. I'm sorry. No, you can't do it. Do you want to sit through 9-hour football games? I'm not here for that. Get over it.
Do you think there should be like a line that you can't, like you can you call it judgment calls, right? A holding penalty is not a judgment call. It's holding. You're either holding or you're not. A pass interference, however, is a judgment call because you may call it pass interference and I may not call pass interference. Do you think they should do it along of the lines that you could challenge those kind of penalties?
No,
or just none at all?
No, because
it's either all or none.
It's either all or none, and we can't afford all. And yes, exactly blown calls can happen. I do think the refs maybe there needs to be a couple more refs on the field to watch more players.
Yeah.
That's my solution. But like, unless you want the game of football to be anemic, you can't do it. And it's already a little slow.
Yeah, it's a little tough because at the end of the day, it is kind of unfair that a team that definitely would have made the Super Bowl, if given that obvious pass interference call, didn't make it because it was a blown call. And now, but reviewing every challenge, every penalty is just it takes away from the game.
Yeah, and I forgot who was being interviewed. It was on Wingo and Golig on ESPN radio, and they were interviewing someone. I forgot who it was, but he played for the Raiders, and they asked him
Charles Woodson. They asked Charles Woodson
about the tuck play.
Said, Yeah, now you all know how we felt about the tuck rule.
And he said, like, oh, I still had nightmares about it. Like he's like, I'm seriously like still heartbroken about that call. It's like, how can they make that call? And it's true. Like, I mean, imagine like you're supposed to be winning a Super Bowl, but a stupid penalty like that is what, and it sucks. But that's what the game is. So, but
no, I mean, with the tuck rule was the rule, but it was a bad rule. It might change next year. Thanks, Brady.
Before we move on to a couple of other things, football related. Really quickly, what are your thoughts about the overtime rule? Do you guys? I mean, I personally, I like it. If you can't stop me from scoring a touchdown, and I think I should win the game. Do you? I mean, now because the Chiefs lost that way, now people are complaining. Should the NFL, research any other types of ways to go about the OT rules,
like transitioning to like college overtime?
No, I think that would be the worst thing to do. That'll be the worst thing to do.
Complaining. Both teams get the ball once. If they tie it once, first score wins.
Okay, that's what I like. Okay, we score a touchdown, you still get a chance.
Yeah.
And you have to score a touchdown. But here's what I would make a twist. If you score a touchdown, whether you're the first team to score a touchdown or the second team, you have to go for 2.
I mean, whatever. I mean, that's semantics. They just need to change the board. They need to get both teams.
Yeah. Anyways, Antonio Brown, is this news or noise? You guys, this is something legit. Is he gonna get traded, or he's just all talk and die out eventually?
The Steelers they have no leader. They have nothing. Roethlisberger's a petty little child. Le'Veon, they couldn't rein in Le'Veon Bell. Whoever the leaders on the team are gone. That's exactly what this shows. And the Steelers are finally going to be awful for a few years. And I'm super excited for that because they're terrible people. Mainly Ben. Ben Roethlisberger is a terrible person. I can't wait to watch him.
I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, I think eventually he gets traded. I don't know. I don't see many teams, trading a lot. Maybe a first rounder or a second rounder for Antonio Brown, who's going to be 31 years old, I think, and getting paid. 30. He's still a great receiver, but
let me tell you the perfect.
I wouldn't mortgage my future.
Let me tell you the perfect scenario because
the Jets.
JETS. It's probably the worst idea ever because all Robbie Anderson needs is Antonio Brown influence, but I can see it happening, and I can cry about it.
Being cocky, going on a Masked Singer and Dancing with the Stars. If he's influencing Robbie Anderson to do that, that's better than doing drugs and speeding in the streets. So I mean,
but yeah, I mean the Antonio Brown thing is,
and it's interesting that you say that because Jamal Adams has been reportedly having dinner with Le'Veon Bell, trying to recruit him to come to the Jets.
Yes.
What do you guys think about that?
Give it to me. Give me that recruiting. Le'Veon Bell would be phenomenal. And I know I can see Nick a little concerned about my excitement over the fact. The reason I'm excited because it's not going to happen, but if it did, Sam Darnold has the security that he needs. You think I'm going to trust Hendon to be the security blanket? He's got a Nunwa, he's got him, but you need a second option. Le'Veon Bell can catch, he can throw, he can unburden Sam Darnold, and let him just express himself, knowing that he always has the option to drop it off to my boy Le'Veon. I love it. I'd rather have him more than AB 100%. Nick, please join in my course. Join in my course.
I mean, I'm with you on certain aspects. I love Le'Veon Bell as much as the next person, but honestly, his attitude, his demeanor, and how he's been presenting himself the last couple of years just makes me nervous. Like once he gets the paycheck, where's his motivation?
How would you guys feel?
He's a man of pride. He
is a man of pride, but what if the Jets hurt that pride? What happens next?
Something that just clicked. Did you guys see what Melvin Gordon said?
No.
He's not signing a contract extensions until he sees the kind of market that Le'Veon Bell gets and the contract he gets.
Melvin?
So that's gonna be crazy. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I want to move on here. We got more football to talk about later, but right now we're gonna dive into the NBA, in what has been shaping up to be a really good season. I mean, if you look at the West and the East, there's a lot of close teams.
It's been a lot of fun. I've watched more basketball this year than I have in a while.
Yeah, you know what? I can't say that. I mean, I watch basketball pretty evenly every year, and I watch the main games on the weekends or the weeknights when I go out, and then the Knicks games. But I've actually watched more of other teams this year than I have other. Like right now, I'm watching Toronto, Milwaukee, when the Nets are playing. and I'm from New York, but I could care less about the Nets, but because I rather watch the two best teams in the East play right now. So I feel like I watch more of other teams. Anyways, I want to talk about the NBA standings right now and some shocking teams thus far into the season. I love talking about this because, as you see from the standings right now, in the East, you have the Bucks, Raptors, Sixers, Pacers are fourth. They just lost Oladipo for the season, so they're probably gonna spiral on downward pretty soon.
They won't be as good. They still have a solid team.
Celtics are fifth. Nets are sixth. Heat are seventh. Hornets.
Oh, by the way, you've already won our bet. Knicks are not winning 28 games.
Oh, I know I won that bet. What did we bet, by the way? Wasn't it drinks?
Long Island's.
I don't know. But I also bet that I think it was against Justin that the Nets would have more wins than the Knicks.
No. I was the one who said the Knicks. No.
I knew the Nets would have more.
So I bet Lyle then. All right.
Yeah, I owe you both Long Island.
That was just a tremendous.
So on February 20th, when you buy me my birthday drink, you could buy me a second one during the Juventus game. Perfect. Yeah. There you go. It's a plan. And then in the West, we have Warriors, Nuggets, Thunder, Trailblazers, Rockets, Spurs, Jazz, and the Clippers. Lakers are in ninth, and the Kings are in ninth, both with 26 and 25 records. So as you see, I mean, we talked about how the Pelicans, right? The Pelicans were like so high up there, top 3 team in the West. Now, they're all the way down at 13. And then if you look at the East, the Nets, were at the bottom of the pack, and the Knicks were actually like 9th, 10th place. And now the Knicks seem to finally get it right, Lyle. They're actually tanking. But we're going to get into the Knicks in just a bit.
Yeah.
Lyle, you want to tell me, just looking at the standings, looking at teams, players who are performing, the way everything's shaping up, is there a team that's really shocking you? That's whether it's in a good way or a bad way?
This is this is tough. Because I guess in a good way, the Kings. I don't have the Kings winning games. They're over 500 with 51 games in the season. Maybe Stojakovic has finally, or Vlade Divac has finally figured out, hey, maybe I can build a real team. The Kings are shocking, and I'm happy for them. And then on the negative end, I mean, dear God Almighty, what happened to the Pistons? They just dropped off the face of the earth.
Hey, Blake Griffin is like top 3 in scoring the last month, so at least there's that for them.
It's because the team can't focus.
Yeah, unless oh my God, that was hysterical. Unless
the coincidence of that.
Unless nothing. Unless unless he can carry a team like James Harden, it means nothing. You could be the highest scoring player, but it's all about W's. It's all about the dubs.
Nick, what about you? Any shockers for you?
To be honest, granted the East is a little weak, but the Nets are a 60 in the East, winning games with a roster that I wouldn't boast about.
Without LeVert.
Without LeVert as well.
Dinwiddie was out for about the next.
Dinwiddie's been out, yep. It's been D'Angelo Russell. Ed Davis has been putting his work with the 20-25 minutes he's been getting. Jared Allen. But even Allen Crabbe has been out for the most part, and they're still winning games.
Yeah, the Timberwolves always seem to shock me. I know they traded Jimmy Butler, but they still seem to suck, even though they've got rid of him. The Sixers are playing great basketball. They're 6-4 in their last 10, but there's been no other team that's been playing better basketball than the Warriors, and they're 10-0 in their last 10 games.
How many games has Cousins been back for?
He's been back for about 5 games now.
About 5, right?
6 games, yeah.
Dude, that team is going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, he's played well too. I think he scored back-to-back games with 20-plus points. So, he's not going to put up ridiculous numbers.
Well, they got a big man that has awareness now. He can find.
Whoa! Never disrespect JaVale McGee like that again. He was
JaVale
amazing. He was amazing.
Come on, dude.
I take JaVale McGee. No, I'm kidding. I can't go that far.
So, wait. Did you just pull Stephen A. Smith?
No, JaVale McGee. I know JaVale McGee used to be on the Warriors. That's why I was saying they have had a center with vision. Yeah. JaVale McGee was great.
Yeah. All right. So, the Warriors. They seem to have figured things out right before the All-Star break, which this is another joke of an All-Star game with has-been players being voted in, but that's neither.
I can't wait for the draft though. Let's see whose feelings are going to be hurt. I'm excited.
Okay. What are we doing first? Porzingis trade or the AD trade talks?
Let's start with AD.
I think the AD because I think KP could go a while.
So the AD situation, we all know it, right? He's reportedly requested a trade for the Pelicans. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The Pelicans were like a top 3 NBA team. But the first month of the season, they completely went downwards. AD did suffer, that he did have like an injury, but now he's just sitting out. I guess the Pelicans are not trying to get him hurt in order to, to trade him. So he has requested a trade, and the main team that seems to be right there to getting him is the Lakers. Nick, what is your thoughts about that? And it's the team he wants to go to. Nick, what do you think about this?
I mean, the Pelicans obviously going to set him out. They don't want to risk him losing any kind of value. I think they can get a lot of pieces from the Lakers, but either way, once AD goes, that team is going to regress substantially.
Holiday is probably next after that too.
Yeah, Holiday came out and said the only reason he stayed in New Orleans is because of Anthony Davis. Now, if Anthony Davis goes, he's right behind them. That franchise just implodes.
Yep, absolutely. And do you guys think that? So like apparently, all of the main 3 players, right? So Ball, Ingram, and Kuzma. Do you think all 3 will be traded for AD?
I think he's worth that much.
Really? See, here's the way I feel about it. Obviously, you're getting the best player between the 4 of them, the 5 of them, the 6, how many players are being traded. Thing is, does LeBron and AD and then a bunch of nobodies put you over the top in the West?
Rajon Rondo.
Even if the Warriors lose Cousins, right? In the offseason and they lose Durant. I mean, we don't even know who they're going to lose, right? That's a whole nother discussion. But do you see them even going past anybody else in the West? Like, I don't see them going past the Nuggets. I don't see them going past the Thunder if they make this trade. So I feel like they need to try really hard to try to keep at least one of those 3, preferably Lonzo, because he can at least play defense, against a top guard. Lau, what do you think? Do you think I'm crazy to want to keep one of the 3? Or
Lonzo over Kuzma?
I would prefer Lonzo because at least Lonzo could shut down a point guard.
But LeBron's a primary ball handler regardless.
And Lonzo doesn't really need to handle the ball. He gets assists regardless, and he plays defense. He's second team all defense, Lonzo, and his is second year in the league. That's pretty impressive.
Okay, I gotta. So the Lakers. If I'm the Lakers, Lonzo's not good enough. Ingram's not good enough. Zubik, whatever that guy.
Zubik's the number 1, and Kuzma.
Not good enough. Kuzma's good enough, but you need something good enough to sweeten the deal. You keep Hart. You go AD, James Hart. You have a Stevenson, Rondo. You have your team of 1-year misfits. AD and LeBron can get another person over there to push him over the top. Kawhi wants to go to LA. Kyrie wants to play with LeBron again. Durant is a snake and he might go there. Kemba Walker's available. You have stars that will go, you know what? I'd like to win a title with LeBron real quick. You make this trade. It's a no-brainer because you're taking a superstar versus potential. And with LeBron on limited years, because he's not going to be LeBron forever, you go with the superstar now because potential doesn't mean anything if you lose LeBron and then they never live up to it. You take that guaranteed superstar over potential 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think they should make the trade regardless of what their asking price is. I would just try really hard not to try to give up, at least all 3, because remember, he is a free agent at the end of the season. He's not signing with them. That's it. He's not signing with them. So
with the Lakers,
he's already said it. Yeah, he's not signing with the Pelicans. So the Lakers can easily come out and say, listen, we'll give you, Hart, Zubik, a first-round pick, and Ingram and Ball, but we want to keep Kuzma, or we'll give you Kuzma and Ball, but we want to keep Ingram. I mean, at the end of the day, the Pelicans lose leverage here, so because they're going to lose him eventually. So maybe the Lakers could get AD for a pretty bargain of a price.
The only leverage the Lakers have right now is trying to get deal done now, because the Celtics might not, because the Celtics are the other big team in play. But the thing is, they might not be able to
wait for free agency
because it's a 1-year rental, and they can't sign AD right now because of the Rose Rule with Kyrie Irving, and you can only have one player under the Rose Rule.
Right, and they're probably going to try to sign him if he becomes a free agent. AD. That's more so how they would prefer to get him on. But let's talk about
he's another year after this. So
right.
AD, yeah. So it's a rough situation for the Pelicans, but hopefully they don't mess it up too badly like another team we know.
So I finished work today, right? Get in my car, turn on ESPN radio, and it's kind of blurry, right? I mean, I'm down in Jersey, close to AC, so the New York City service doesn't really reach that far down. As I'm driving up, I hear something about people complaining about the Knicks and Porzingis, and I'm like, oh, well, we expected this to come. We knew that he was going to be iffy about re-signing with us. Blah blah blah, whatever. Okay. I did not know he was traded until about an hour into the trade was done, and then I hear the details of the trade, and it's crazy. But let me read it out for our listeners here, just in case they don't know the full details of it. Kristaps Porzingis, Burke, Hardaway, and Courtney Lee go to the Mavericks, and in return we get
Burke too?
Yeah, and we trade Trey Burke.
Oh,
we receive DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, Dennis Smith Jr., former first-round pick who the Knicks should have drafted years ago, and two future first-round picks as soon as 2021 and 2023. Both picks are protected for top 5, which is amazing. That's really, really good. That means as long as the Mavs are top 5 worst in the league in those 2 years, which I don't think they will with Doncic and maybe Porzingis in the future, we get their first-round draft picks, which is pretty – I think it's a pretty good haul for the situation that we were in. But Lyle, you have thoughts about this? Because this was your unicorn. This was your god. This was the guy that you told me was going to help the Knicks win those 28 games.
Yeah. So let me start by saying I saw the tweet like the 5 seconds after it happened. Like 5 seconds, like before the trade's like Kristaps wants to leave. I'm like, he's gone today. Within 2 minutes of the trade, I had about 35 text messages. People I talk to, people I don't talk to, asking me if I'm okay. That's because I hype up Chris God. I hype up my star players because
I think we need to stop calling him that.
We'll get there. I hype up my people. That's what I do because I am an avid supporter. He's gone now. He's now just Kristaps Porzingis. He's no longer God. He's no longer Chris God. He's no longer Godzingis. He's just Kristaps. Now, initially, I was filled with irrational rage, and I wanted to go strangle our GM, Dolan, the entire Knicks organization. But then I thought about Kristaps has never finished an entire season. Kristaps is coming back from a severe injury. We sold him at the lowest point we could, and we still came away with a very fine point guard, 2 salary. We dumped THJ's awful salary, Courtney Lee,
who had another year left.
Huge salary dumps, and DeAndre Jordan's at the end of his contract. Wesley Matthews is at the end of his contract. This opens up space for a second max player. We have space for 2 max players. Before I get into the max players that we hopefully will sign, let me just tell you a little fun anecdote about THJ, Timmy Hardaway Jr. The Knicks drafted him. We traded him. We brought him back in for an egregious contract just to trade him for someone we should have drafted. Good job, Timmy Hardaway Jr. Secure that bag.
He's secured now. Right.
Just to show what kind of a player he was, he's also I forgot what the stat was. He is shooting under 40%, taking more than 16 shots a game. So he's one of 4 players ever in the recent era to be shooting under 40% while taking more than 16 shots a game.
He's awful.
Let's just let that settle in.
This deal's overall the outlook on it. We don't know if we've won or lost yet. We only know if we win if in the summer we sign 2 excellent free agents and we turn those drafts into excellent picks, or we package them to get an excellent player. If you don't mind, I'm going to go into the top free agents for next year. Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Chris Middleton, Tobias Harris, Kemba Walker,
I like
Vucevic. Mirotic and Cousins. Again, we've got a couple more. You've got Al Horford.
Get the Mirotic rule back.
Cousins might just take half of what he's getting now and just stay with the Warriors.
Here's what I'm saying.
Well, Clay, wait, before you continue, sorry. Klay Thompson already said that he's looking for a max contract. He's not getting that from the Warriors. I'm sorry.
No, he's not. So here's what I'm saying.
Is he worth a max contract?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, Clay is he plays both ends.
So. I don't know if he's gonna play up to that level when he gets it. But right now, based off how he plays year in year out, he deserves it just as much as anybody else. Here's the thing.
Now, if I'm a Knicks fan, I want any combination of Durant, Leonard, Butler, Irving, Thompson.
Oh no,
Walt, Kemba Walker. I want any combination.
Butler could stay. Butler could stay out of it.
I'm talking about
if I'm a superstar. If I'm a superstar, where's my incentive to be going to the Knicks now that they lost Porzingis?
I'm getting there.
If I'm Durant, I'm whispering in Klay Thompson's ear saying, "Hey, next year we're out to New
York." So again, I'm just talking about hypothetically. I'm not talking about the possibility or the chances. We'll get to that. I'm saying if we get two excellent superstars and then we draft well or we turn those draft picks into a good package for another player, then we win this trade. But we lose this trade when we do super Knicks things like give Eric Bledsoe a max contract or give D'Angelo Russell a max contract, which is a very Knicks move because that's my nightmare.
Okay.
That's my nightmare. That we're
get Tim Hardaway Jr. for a third time.
Yeah, these are my nightmares because the Knicks.
I will put money right now. I will put money right now that the Knicks do get Tim Hardaway again on the roster. It may be 5 years from now, but it's going to happen.
I agree with you. But here's my fear. The last superstar the Knicks were able to get in free agency, don't forget Melo was a trade. The last superstar the Knicks were able to get in free agency was Amari Stoudemire right after a microfracture surgery. We have not gotten...
Right after LeBron played us and went to Miami.
Yep. We have not gotten a superstar in free agency in a minute. So I'm praying to every god, except for Chris God, because he no longer exists, that this doesn't turn out to be the worst trade of all time. Because we all know Porzingis is going to come back perfect now that he's not a Knick. We all know, and again, any form of Kemba Walker, Klay Thompson, Durant, Irving, Kawhi, any of those. But if I see Bledsoe, if I see D'Angelo Russell, if I see Tobias Harris, Harrison Barnes, Terry Rozier getting maxes, I will cry. You will see a grown man cry on this podcast.
That won't happen. Nick, any last thoughts on the Porzingis trade before we move on?
I mean, I liked it. The Knicks free up a lot of cap room. You don't know what you're going to get out of Porzingis next year. I mean, granted, he's a 7-footer with the talent that he is, but also we haven't seen a 7-footer like him tear his Achilles and come back and know what he's going to do. So I think the Knicks made a step in the right direction.
And he forced our hand. I mean, he went into a meeting today with his brother, said, we're not happy here. We want to be traded. And the Knicks traded him 2 hours later. So, I mean, obviously the Knicks had offers in the back of their mind or had offers from other, teams prior to this, because to trade a superstar like that within 2 hours is kind of ridiculous. Now, from the other angle as a fan, I feel really, disappointed. I feel betrayed because clear example of this is, if you know Lyle, this is a perfect example of it, because Lyle hyped up Porzingis. He called him, Godzingis. He called him the unicorn.
God.
But not because Lyle's arrogant or ignorant or, is blinded by the bias that he loves for his love for the Knicks. No, it's not because of that. It's because we're New Yorkers. We love our teams. We love our players. You guys hype up Jamal Adams as if Nick just said he's the best safety in football. He's not. But as a New Yorker, you're gonna say that and you're gonna hype up your player. We did that with Porzingis. We had nothing when Melo left. We sucked. When we drafted Porzingis, we cried because we thought Phil Jackson made his first mistake with the Knicks. Turns out that was the best thing Phil Jackson ever did as a coach, as a GM. No, not as a coach. I'm lying. But you know what I mean? As a Knick, it was the best thing he's did, and he left us that. And we go ahead. You know what? We got Porzingis. At least Phil Jackson did that right. We loved him. We hyped him up. He turned around. He spit in our face. He disrespected Fizdale and the organization and the teammates by going behind the Knicks' back and posting up videos of him working out saying, "Oh, I'm fine. I could play. Idiot. We're trying to tank to make a better team for you. Okay? we're trying to make a better team for you, and you're gonna go ahead and did it. I mean, as a fan, I was just disappointed at it. I try my best to love him, but I mean, now I wish nothing but the worst for him. So, but that's it.
Well, hot dog.
Different. I wish him all the best. I wish him all the best until he meets the Knicks with Kevin Durant and Kemba Walker when we dominate him.
Okay. Before we get into the Super Bowl, Lyle is going to go wild yet again, but this one's going to be more intense as the last vent that he just did. Lyle, are you ready?
Yeah, here we go. Oh my God. I don't even know where to begin. There's so much going on. I could rant about Stephen A. Smith not knowing. Again, Justin was tried to call me out on something. Stephen A. Smith not knowing who players are and lack of research. I could go on a rant about the NFL and Roger Goodell's awful press conference and watching him just be a shill for the owners instead of being the adversary, which he's supposed to be. I could go on a rant about almost anything. But here's what I am going to go on a rant about. The Super Bowl halftime show. Let me be absolutely clear. For the people who say, "Oh my God, I only watch the Super Bowl for the Super Bowl halftime show,"
the commercials,
or no, I love the commercials. The issue with everyone saying I only watch Super Bowl halftime show is if you genuinely look at the production value, the quality of singing, there hasn't been a good Super Bowl halftime show ever. They're all over choreographed, overproduced, gimmicky.
Excuse me.
Like
Janet Jackson. Hello,
sir. They're all awful. Yes, that might have been the best Super Bowl halftime show because something unchoreographed happened. I don't understand why you want to sit through 2 hours of football that you hate to watch 15 minutes of mediocre music that you might enjoy, but you're going to tweet, the Super Bowl halftime show is kind of boring. Cher was actually better. Oh my God, why do I do this every year? No, I don't want to hear from you guys because you guys aren't these people. I know these people. I hate these people. I let them know that they disgust me on a visceral level. They're right up there with neo-Nazis in my mind. Again, I'm exaggerating, but my point is clear. Don't tell me you're only watching the Super Bowl for the Super Bowl halftime show because that makes me think of you as less of a person, and I think your interests are boring and lazy and crappy. Figure out your lives. If you're only watching for the halftime show, catch it on YouTube the next day and stay out of my way when I'm yelling at Tom Brady and hoping he snaps his neck, but in a way that lets him walk forever afterwards. That's it. End of rant. Wu-Tang Clan is
Well, after that Brady comment, I kind of have an idea of where Lyle's leaning towards, who he's going to be cheering for in the Super Bowl. But we're going to go on here to
snap your neck, but can walk afterwards. Like I want him to be
the greatest. I mean, if you snap your neck, you're dead. So you can't move after. So I don't know what world you live in, Lyle, but this is not Earth 2.
True.
Well, this is Tom Brady. He's not going to die.
So we're finally talking about the Super Bowl, and we're gonna make it quick. We're gonna give you guys, some key points for both teams to win and who we think will win. So we have the Patriots versus the Rams. This is the rematch of the first Super Bowl that the Patriots won to go on that crazy run that they went on in the early 2000s. First time the Patriots won, I believe it was 20-17, if I'm not mistaken. They were winning 17-3 in the fourth quarter. Rams came back to tie it up, and then the Patriots went on to win the Super Bowl with a game-winning field goal by Vinatieri to stop the Rams from winning back-to-back Super Bowls. They had won not back-to-back, 2 times in 3 years. The Rams had won 2 years prior against the Titans. So this year we have the Patriots who are in their third straight Super Bowl, correct? They beat the Falcons.
4 to 5.
Lost to the Eagles. Yeah, so listen, we've heard it over and over again with Tom Brady and Belichick in the Super Bowl. He's done it with Randy Moss. He's done it with no weapons. He's done it with a great running game. He's done it with a horrible defense. Tom Brady has done it numerous times, year in and year out. Despite all that, they are going up against a offense, the second best offense of football in the Rams, right after the Chiefs. They're going up against the best running back in football in Todd Gurley, the hottest new thing in coaching in Sean McVay. They're going up against a nasty defensive line that's led by no other than the defensive MVP of the year in Donald and his other counterpart in Ndamukong Suh. You got Akeem Talib, you got Marcus Peters, you got a ton of talent on this team, on this defense for the Rams and offensive side of the ball. What are some key points for the Rams? I mean, for the Patriots. What do the Patriots have to do? What's one key point that the Patriots have to do in order to win this game, Lau?
I think it's going to come down to getting the running backs involved in the passing game. I think attacking these linebackers is going to be key. They are easily the weakest point. Marcus Peters hasn't been great either, so attacking him is not the worst idea either. But attacking these linebackers in
He had
coverage.
a great game last week.
Again, a great game, but that's what I'm saying, attacking these linebackers in coverage with your running backs, I think that's the way to success.
Nick, what about you? What's one thing that you think the Patriots have to do in order to win this game?
Well, I have a couple things in mind. One being just make Jared Goff uncomfortable. It's his first time in the Super Bowl. There's obviously going to be certain growing pains as far as him being new to the situation, the noise from the AFC Championship. He was having issues with the headset. He was having issues relaying the plays to the huddle. Just constantly get in his face, make him uncomfortable. He's going to make his mistakes. Also, I want to add, Tom Brady hasn't been touched at all in the postseason. If that offensive line can continue to play at the high level that it is, there's no way the Patriots can lose this game.
Yeah, so more or less, my reason goes hand in hand with both of yours. Lyle, you said, attack the linebackers. And Nick, you said, offensive line play. For me, it's running the ball. I think the Patriots, they've rushed for over 150 yards in their first 2 playoff games this year. That goes back to, the game against the Chargers where they completely dominated them. And then, the game in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs, they ran the ball very effectively with Sony Michel. Burkhead, who's the backup running back, ran for 10 yards for the game-winning touchdown. James White catch the ball out the backfield. So more or less it's the same thing that you guys are saying. I do think the Patriots do have to run the ball very, very effectively because much like the Chiefs, the Rams have a great offense with crazy weapons. And then you got a player like Brandon Cooks who's probably hungry to verse them as well. You need to keep that offense off the field. So to me, they definitely need to be able to run the ball effectively.
Also, to add to your point, if you pay attention to the stat sheet, the Rams have held both the Cowboys and the Saints to, I think, both under 50 yards rushing, with coming out with very close wins. If they can hold down the Patriots, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's also a counterpart to this, right? So the Rams obviously are playing against the Patriots, and they can win this game just as much as the Patriots could win this one. If anything, I mean it's a minus 2.5 spread, right? So the Rams are plus 2.5, so they're deemed as the the underdog. That means to me, this means that if the Patriots were home, this would probably be like a minus 4.5 spread, minus 5 spread, because home field advantages are already in the 1.5 favorite of that team. So, Nick, I'll start off with you. What's one thing that the Rams need to do in order to win this game?
Well, just like how I mentioned, Tom Brady not being touched earlier, and that comes down to how well the offensive line is playing. The Rams need to get in Tom Brady's face. Tom Brady hasn't been sacked at all, I think, in this postseason.
At all? Nope.
At all. The last game, I think he was only hit once or twice. He's sitting back there pretty. Now, he's older. He's slower. He doesn't like to get hit. He never liked to get hit, but he definitely doesn't like to get hit as much as he used to. You need to get a hand on him. You need to make him uncomfortable. You need him to make the mistakes. Because Tom Brady, with time, will be a precision passer and will tear up any defense in the league.
So, I mean, Lyle, I was going to let you go here now, but what I wanted to say was exactly what Nick is saying as well. I'm saying pressure from up the middle. You had a beast in Aaron Donald, who's on that defensive line, who led the league in sacks as not a nose tackle, as a DT. As a DT, led the league. And he's going up against I forgot the left guard name for the Patriots, but he was drafted 3 years ago with them as a rookie, started as a rookie, hasn't missed a game since, and has played in the last 3 Super Bowls as the starting left guard for the Patriots. So that's going to be a good matchup there. So for me, it's pressure up the middle. Wade Phillips, as we all know, is a great defensive coordinator. In 9 games, in versing Tom Brady, guess how many times he's been sacked?
0.
No. He's been sacked 18 times against a Wade Phillips defense. And this goes back to the year in 2000, I believe it's 2012, where they had 3 games against each other. And he's only had 3 sacks. So basically, in 6 games against Wade Phillips defense as a defense coordinator, Tom Brady has been sacked 15 times. So he's the defensive coordinator for the Rams. I think if he lines it up, if he starts blitzing and he makes Tom Brady get hit, at least not even just necessarily just always sacks, I think that'd be a huge key for why the Rams win the game. Lyle?
I think it doesn't come down to doing one particular thing good or bad for the Rams. I think it comes down to mentality. I think it comes down to keeping your head. You're playing in a high emotional, high risk, high reward game. And this is a very emotional right every single game. You cannot take stupid penalties. You cannot get angry and upset over every bad call. If the Rams keep their head, I think they have an excellent shot, because if you look at these teams on paper, strictly on paper, and you look at the Rams names and you look at the Patriots team, the Rams have more pure talent. The Patriots can have the coaching, the pedigree, they have a lot going on for a lot of intangible. But in pure talent, the Rams have the edge. And in a one-off game, it can come down to one play. It can come down to one stupid mistake, as we saw with the Saints Ram game. That was one stupid mistake. It comes down to one dumb mistake. And I feel like the Rams are much more likely to do that. If they can avoid making mental errors due to passion, if they can keep their heads, I think they have a very, very good shot at winning this game.
Absolutely. And the thing is, and you mentioned something that I was going to mention after, the penalties are both teams, and it's crazy. This is ridiculous when I found this out. Both teams are in the top 10 as far as not allowing penalties or not committing penalties. So on offense, they were both in the top 10 and not committing penalties. Rams were 10th. Patriots were 2nd. And on defense, they were both in the top 10 and not committing penalties. The Patriots were 3, and the Rams were 10th. So very, very identical in the sense of that, but both teams don't really allow the other team the opportunity for a second chance, like a pass interference call, whatever. I mean, it also goes without saying that the Rams had a few calls go their way. Otherwise, that percentage may have –
that stat would have been a little different.
So we'll get into our predictions. We'll get into that for sure. Let's have some fun with this Super Bowl now. Top 5 from we could do from 1 to 5, or we could do from 5 to 1. I'll let you guys decide that. But Nick, you up here first. We're gonna do our top 5 MVP candidates. Now, I know I should have been a little bit more specific. Okay, but if you were a betting man, I want to know. I don't want to know who you think would be the top 5 MVPs. I want to know if you were a betting man, in what order would you bet? Where would you bet your money on the top 5 MVPs? Nick, you're first.
All right, so these guys all have a lot of things in common. I'm going with number 1, Brady. Number 2, Tom. Number 3, Thomas. Number 4, Tom Brady.
I'm sensing a pattern.
And number 5, Brady catching the pass from Brady, going in for a touchdown. But he catches the ball this time.
Those are good selections.
Honestly, the way I see this game coming down is the Rams will continue to be a threat against the run. I think they can bottle up Sony Michel, which is going to force the Patriots to throw more. And the way that Tom Brady has been having time in the pocket, he is going to slice and dice his defense and win his way to another Super Bowl, win his way to an MVP. Now, if I had to go the other way or throw a second or third, I'd probably go Jared Goff. I think Goff is to win this game. He's gonna have to play outstanding football. I could see Cooks being a playmaker and catching a couple bombs for a touchdown. And if Gurley can get the opportunity, I think they're gonna have to use and play through Gurley. But he hasn't been playing as much as he normally would, and I don't really know how to establish him there.
Lau, what about you? What are your top 5 bets?
Top 5.
So be it. If
I'm a betting man, it's Thomas Brady is number 1, unfortunately. Jared Goff is number 2 because quarterbacks get unfair weight. Number 3 is LaMarcus Joyner. I think he's going to play a pivotal role in this game.
Pivotal.
Number 4, Julian pivotal. He's going to be responsible most likely for Gronk, and that's going to be big. Then it's going to be Julian Edelman because he does ridiculous things every Super Bowl. And I think Sean McVay is going to have some special plays for Brandon Cooks, and I think he's going to do phenomenally. So Cooks would be my number 5.
Cooks was kind of like right there. If I had like a sixth answer, it would probably be Cooks. But I'm gonna go Brady as well, number 1. Some crazy things here though, if you guys want to know. Based off of Odds Sharks, the percentage of a quarterback basically, winning the MVP is what I think it's more than about 60% of the time the quarterbacks win. So 20s and all the MVPs histories, 27 quarterbacks have won MVP, 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 3 linebackers, 3 defensive linemen, 2 corners, 1 safety, 1 fullback, 1 kick returner in the history of MVPs. So I'd show that the quarterback position wins the MVP the most. So I will go Brady first. I will go Goff second. I will then go Todd Gurley will be 3, only because he's the better of the 2 running backs. And if the Rams do win, he has to be a key part of that, just because he's their best offensive player. Then I'll go Sony Michel because I strongly believe, and yes, I am doing a spoiler alert, that the Patriots do win. And if they do win, it's because Sony Michel had a big game. And I'm going to give Aaron Donald some love here. If he does, get a couple of sacks here, maybe a couple of QB pressures, maybe we could get a defensive player to win MVP for the first time in God knows how long. So that's just my thoughts. But it's for it's the time that we all been waiting for, and it's our predictions on the Super Bowl. I want to know who's winning and the score. Lyle, you're up first.
Before I mention this, are we saying what we in our heart of hearts want to happen, or what we know is going to happen?
Realistically,
if you were a betting man,
if I'm a betting man, it's Patriots 31, Rams 17. Included. Patriots 31, Rams 17. Now, in my heart of hearts, what I believe in my imagination is Rams 35, Patriots
0.
Now, most likely my first prediction, because that's what I'm doing with my head, but I hope the one with my heart happens.
Nick, what about you? Who you got winning this game?
Well, I definitely have the Patriots win this game. I think it's almost a no-brainer. Now, as far as the final score, I'm hoping that they hear what my box numbers are going to be. It has yet to be revealed, but I can see the Patriots scoring in the high 30s. Let's say 37-2. I would go 24. I'll go 37-24.
I have the Patriots winning, and I have a score of 30-27 by the Patriots. So, that's pretty much it. Those are our predictions. Our keynotes that. We appreciate you guys listening this far.
I think before we do our sign off, I just want to point out something really important. I think Nick's going to appreciate this. Now, let's say when the Patriots win, Tom Brady goes, you know what? I know what it's time for. And he hangs up his cleats and he pulls out a sign from behind himself, and it just reads, "It's Darnold season." Because get ready. The next 20-year run by a franchise is going to be by none other than Sam Darnold.
The quarterback you wanted with all your heart. Yeah. Good job.
Hey, he's
good job showing our wonderful listeners what a wonderful fraud you are.
Whoa, pause. I said I wasn't thrilled, but now that he's my quarterback, he's got 3 years of nothing but unconditional support. 3 years.
Yeah, it didn't sound like that when he was not announced the starter. Years. 2 more years unless he has a fumble this year. And then we'll really see. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Make sure you follow our podcast page on Instagram and Twitter at JNJTalksports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on our podcast on iTunes podcast, on SoundCloud, on Google Play, and wherever else you can find a podcast playing. You can follow me on Twitter at EasyPolizzi_21. That's EasyPolizzi_21. Nick, where can our wonderful listeners follow you on Twitter?
You beautiful people can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Stefanoun. That's STEPHANOUN. And this handsome devil Lyle, where can our listeners find you?
They can find my handsomeness and intellectualism at LYLESSTYLE. That's Lyle's Style. Bringing you the Lyle with the style at the same damn time.
All right, guys, enjoy your Super Bowl. Eat a lot of wings. Drink a couple of brewskis. Have fun. Enjoy. Be safe. We are out.
Bye.
Yes, sir. See ya.
Yeet.